Hey guys, how's it going? It's Rust Belt Collector here, and here's a video that you guys requested. I think in the P.O. Box unboxing video, you guys asked to see some of my custom Lego figures, and honestly, these are all of them, or all my old ones at least. I don't have any more. I think some of them got thrown away, others got made into new customs, and so ultimately we're left with this. Basically in this video I'm just going to go over the various ones that I have. I'm going to try and start with some of the oldest ones, but it's really tough to say when I made these and how I made these, especially this many years later. But anyways, let's dig into it. Now I should say right off the bat, some of these vary in condition, both because I played with them and also because some of them are just bad, you know? I just wasn't very good at keeping my Legos in a good collector grade quality. I went kind of crazy with them, and a lot of them got damaged because of that, but honestly, these are meant for kids, and I was a kid, and I had fun making these, so I don't regret it in any way. Just want to get that out of the way and kind of explain some of the logic here. I think first up, this is one of my first, or at least this is one of the earliest ones that I currently have. This was supposed to be a zombie, and yeah, isn't that horrifying? Just look at the beautiful face that I did there with the bloodshot eyes, and I lopped out chunks of the torso to make it look like his body was chewed up and eaten up. And I also gave him this arm because that way he could, this isn't really what he's meant to have, but that way he could have like accessories like chainsaws and things sticking out of his arm. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Very cool, very nice, very beautiful Sharpie paint job going on here. From there, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I graduated to this. This is one of the original Wookiee Warriors from like the 2004 and 5 Lego sets. And basically all I did here was I painted his pouches, his straps, his headgear here. Some of it was unpainted with the original figure, and some of it was painted with the original figure, but the paint wore off. And so this was my attempt at basically restoring it. I honestly don't think that I did that bad of a job. It does look pretty nice, all things considered, just painting this cowl, painting the top gold. It's definitely not the worst custom. It takes away any value that this figure had, which isn't that big of a deal, but it makes it look nice and more serviceable in the Grand Army of the Republic. Along the way, there are some sadder customs like this. I added some stripes to one of the original ninjas from the Ninja series that they did a long time ago, like back in the 90s. Man, I wish I didn't do this. I wish I actually had more of these ninjas. These were some of the coolest figures that I didn't really grow up with. I kind of just got them from garage sales and random things like that, but the original green, red, blue, gray, and black ninjas, I would love to have a complete lineup of them. They are so cool, so classic, and I think this is the only one I have left, and as you can see, I kind of ruined it with the striping, but there's that guy with some cool Sharpie striping. Not really a extravagant custom, but still a custom nonetheless. Something like this kind of hurts, honestly. This is an original Clone Trooper helmet. Obviously, I shaved off the crest, and it was probably a Sharpie custom at one time, but I've coated it in whiteout, I believe it was, and drawn over it with another Sharpie, maybe even a highlighter, and I did this whole pattern at some time. It doesn't look terrible, I guess. I mean, there's a cool Clone Trooper design underneath this thing somewhere, but yeah, I kind of wish I just had the original 2005 Clone Trooper helmet untouched rather than that. One thing that I became all too fond of was printing off decals from Google Images and then gluing them onto figures, and this is one of those instances. As you can see, it's very crooked and not sized correctly, so I didn't have a big enough piece, but I went with it anyways and just slapped it on there. Yeah, it's kind of terrible. I think this was the first assassin from Assassin's Creed. So you have the torso, you have the arms, and then I cut off a blade from a knife and I glued it onto like a Lego knife, not a real knife, guys. Okay, just a Lego knife. I glued it onto his underarm there so that he had a hidden blade. And yeah, there's a hair there. Just gonna get that out of there. But yeah, kind of an interesting custom. I forget who made these or even like who originally designed this character, you know, for the Lego format. This was before a lot of the big major customization, like figure customization sites were up, like Clone Army Customs, things like that. This was long before that. So in that internet age, these may have come from like Saber Scorpion. I don't remember. I genuinely wish I could, but yeah, there he is. There's the assassin. There's a couple more of these coming up. Along the way, I also made custom weapons like this gravity hammer. This is definitely taken from Saber Scorpion's design. Then this is just like a pickaxe or battle axe where I painted it silver. So creative. This is a sword from like the Knights. Oh, what was it called? Knight's Kingdom. This was a Knight's Kingdom sword that I also painted up. Very, very cool. Kind of, not really. Then this is like a flying V electric guitar. This is somebody's mock build. I don't remember who originally invented this design, but you just shave down that corner of the L piece and glue it together, and you have a pretty good looking electric guitar, all things considered. But yeah, that's just another custom piece that is irreversibly customized, and for some reason I've just saved it all these years. Now these are definitely Saber Scorpion designs. These are the ODSTs that he used to make for the Lego characters. Here's Mickey, and here's probably Rookie, I think, and I made a bunch of other ones. I know I made Dare and Buck, but basically, yeah, I just printed these off of Google Images and then glued them onto, with super glue, glued them onto these helmets. Effectively ruining the helmets permanently, but also, I mean, they're pretty cool. I don't mind them. I don't have the bodies anymore. I'm assuming that I repurposed the bodies or just threw them away at some point. Oh, and here's another one. Here's Romeo with like his binoculars up on top of his head. And yeah, there's those. Those things are cool. There's ODST helmets. I also made custom Lord of the Rings characters at one point. The bodies are long since gone, but there's a Knight of Gondor and there's an elven shield. Kind of trimmed the shield out with nail clippers, if I remember correctly, and just glued the paper cutouts on there. Yeah, there's nothing terribly special about these. I just figured you guys requested it, and I thought maybe I'd show these off since I don't think really anybody's ever seen my customs. They're very much a mixed bag, and I know that I did a lot more than these, but these are just the ones that have stuck with me all these years. This one isn't half bad. This one is Tron from the movie Tron Legacy, or not Tron, but just a Tron character from Tron Legacy. Again, paper decals printed out, glued on. They're the ink is kind of wearing off in the corners, but I was actually pretty happy with this one overall. He looks pretty decent, doesn't look terrible. Yeah, there he is, another paper decaled Lego guy. Then we get into more of my Call of Duty phase, so I made like a Navy SEAL from probably what I would consider like modern times. So he's wearing, you know, blue jeans and just like a tactical vest. And this weapon came from probably like a Creo set or something crappy. It's not from official Lego at all. And there's nothing much to be said about him. Official Lego head and helmet. And let's see what his torso is under here. I genuinely... an old knight's castle. Another castle. It was a castle theme. That's like an orc body. So just reused it because it was brown and it suited my purpose. And I think these arms, you can kind of see the glue residue. These arms were originally Halo Marine arms. Once again, paper decals, just like all these other ones. Like I said, I reused a lot of them. If I messed up or something like that, I would just glue more paper on them from a different set. Now, these guys are also from Call of Duty, I guess. These guys are kind of from that one episode from Modern Warfare 2, or one mission where you're on the snowy mountains. So they have like the Task Force 141 patch on their chest. And again, paper decals just glued on. Custom made rifle where I glued half of a binocular to the rifle and glued some camouflage onto that. These guys aren't that bad, all things considered. I kind of like how they turned out. They look very military. They definitely don't compare to what you can get nowadays with the custom printed figures that you can buy, but regardless, I'm not mad that I did these ones. These ones are pretty cool. Then we have two more assassins. This one is Ezio Auditore da Firenze from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and this is the same character from Assassin's Creed Revelations. Obviously, this one is a lot jankier. He really kind of got messed up. He's got weird shoulder pads, and tried to make like the legs still movable with the paper decals there regardless. and I really messed up the front there. You can obviously see the leg printing from the original figure underneath there, but there's Assassin's Creed Revelations guy. He's cool or something. And I think this one's probably the best of the 3 Assassins that I've made. The legs are a little bit more aligned. He's got the hidden blade. I custom cut this cape out of like a red guard cape. And overall, yeah, I mean, it's another paper Assassin's Creed outfit, but it doesn't look terrible. It could be worse, I suppose. These two have no story really with them. They're just custom painted helmets. This one is a Bike Scout helmet that I think I was using for like a Republic Commando at one time. And this is the Skyhopper helmet that I just painted silver and black. The silver paint's kind of chipped away, which kind of looks cool now. So I don't know. I could actually maybe use that on like a Rebel pilot, and it would be a unique pilot's helmet. But yeah, this one was just a Sharpie thing. I would put the Sharpie on really heavily, and then I would take a piece of cloth and I would just dab it, and that's how you get this like textured look with the Sharpie. Yeah, there's that guy. He's cool. I don't have a body for him. I never made a body for him, apparently. I just have the helmet laying around, as I do with a couple of these, so I don't know what that's all about. Then we have figures like this, which are barely customs in my opinion. They're more kit bashes, I guess. This is a custom Captain Locke that I made using the Locke or Horn Company legs, clone body, just plain, and then some light green arms and a Clone Army Customs visor that I had to glue onto his helmet. I think it's fairly accurate to the show. Ultimately, it was just kind of a custom that I did. And then with one of the spare bodies and a standard ARF Trooper helmet, I made like a Horn Company ARF Trooper. So that's more of a kit bash or like a purist build, and this is just like slightly customized. Either way, I figured I'd include them in this video since they are technically customs. I have a bunch of customs like this one though, where they're just purist builds that I kind of kit bash together. In fact, I think I have one more in this video as well. These two figures are kind of an oddity. I don't think anybody would know what they're even from. They're kind of purist. This one is not purist because I technically Sharpied those straps onto his chest. But this is meant to be Olin Rogers and Jake Sidwell, two YouTubers here on, of all things, YouTube. They made a mini-series called Pop Rocket back in the day, like maybe 2015 I think they made it. I was a huge fan of it. I still am. It's a great, mini-series on YouTube, high production for such a, like a small budget short film kind of thing. I've always loved Olin Rogers' content, and so I made these two characters of them a long, long time ago, and in doing so, I posted a picture on Facebook and shared it with them, and they actually reposted my picture, which was so cool to kid me. So I kept these guys around for purely nostalgia. These are Pop Rocket characters to me, and I love them dearly. Next up, we have this guy. He's kind of a combination of all of my horrible techniques for customizing figures. He's got decals on his chest and his legs, paper decals just glued on. He's got paint on his helmet, like actual model paint, and then he has Sharpie here in the more difficult areas to reach. It's cool. There's nothing terribly wrong with this figure. It's a cool design, I think. Just kind of sloppy in a lot of places. So there's this guy. I think I called him like Commander Night Owl or something like that. I don't remember. I had weird names for all these figures, but there's another one. Another messy, sloppy custom. Then there is this commando squad. There was a fourth member. I don't know where the fourth member is, so it's just these three for now. I think this one was Sarge, and this is just purely Sharpie and super glue. This one was Sarge, and then this one was Tech, I think. And yeah, I did like custom faces, so he's got like scars. This was Tech, the sniper. This was Sarge. I think Sarge has a custom head. Yeah, I gave him sideburns and a goatee, and then, or like a soul patch rather. And then this guy was Ratchet, I think, and that's like Sharpie and paper decals once again, and just a painted backpack, and then he just had kind of facial hair. So yeah, those guys, I do like his helmet design. I like how I gave him the binoculars and like the line work, but obviously these are older customs that I did a long time ago, so they're still pretty sloppy by what I would consider good standards. But like I said, it's all about having fun. Next up we have this guy. I think this was just a sniper in one of my custom legions growing up, so just a clone trooper sniper with a jetpack so that he could get up to sniper positions, basically. Another custom Sharpie head. Ultimately, I actually like this guy's design. I just think that it's simplistic. Like, there's nothing overcomplicated about it. Maybe someday I'll actually get around to just, I don't know, making this figure into a custom, like, action figure. Next, we have these 3 figures. These are all custom painted with, like, acrylic paints. This was meant to be a tank crew that I designed. It was going to go in, like, a Republic tank. And, yeah, I mean, nothing terribly fancy about these, nothing terribly good or highly detailed, especially with the legs. The legs are very, very sloppy, but yeah, it was a custom Legion or a custom battalion that I made. I thought they looked pretty good in my head when I made them, and now I'm just like, whatever. They end up in a box now. This one is technically not a custom of mine, but it is a custom design that I made. This is a Wolfpack Airborne Trooper, and actually AV Customs made these decals and painted this helmet for me. He did this a long time ago before he was super popular like he is now, more mainstream. So this was like a one-off. It wasn't one that he actually produced for his website or anything. And I love his work. I love what he does now. He does amazing work, and you know, some of you probably follow him or have bought from him. If I was still into Legos the way I was back then, I would still be buying from him. His products look amazing, but it's cool to have one that he did like by hand back in the early days of AV figures, you know, so it's nice to have this piece. And now, second to last, we have this. This is more just a custom torso that I made that I could swap out with any other clone trooper. And it's just one that I drilled a hole through with, I think, like a hot needle and a candle. And that way you can put a lightsaber through it, and it looks like he got impaled with a lightsaber. Pretty destructive, but still kind of a fun custom. I remember displaying it with, like, you know, Order 66, and like a Jedi was killing his clone troopers. And yeah, there you go. That's a custom that I made. And then finally, my favorite custom. Back in the day when I was on MOC pages or mock pages, I don't know if you guys ever remember those days. This was like my my sig fig. This was Commander Nitro, and this isn't his original helmet. This is just one that I gave him recently. There's his ugly mug under there, but his original helmet was this. A gunner helmet with like Captain Neo or Commander Neo visor slit kind of going on there, and then like a bloody scar through the Republic symbol. And yeah, this was Captain Nitro. I don't remember if the torso and legs were the same. I think some things changed over the years. I'd have to go back and see if my page is still active on there. It's probably not, but yeah, there's Captain Nitro. This is more the purest build, and then this is like the actual custom build, his Phase 1 armor. I'm actually really glad to still have Captain Nitro in the collection, because he's got some good fond memories, you know, just in the collection. Compared to some of these other ones, he's probably still one of my favorites, along with the Pop Rocket figures. But as always, guys, that's where I'm wrapping up this video. You know, I don't have much more to say about this. Hopefully you guys liked it, a little walk through my past with Lego customization, or ruining, if some of you guys feel that way about it. I don't know. But as always, if you want to check out my social media, link down in the description to my Instagram, to my Facebook, to my merch site, and also a P.O. Box address down there. If you're interested in sending anything into the channel, you can do so through that P.O. Box, and I'll do an unboxing video here on the channel. But as always, guys, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for just being cool people in the world. As always, I will catch you all in the next video.